Hi, this is Maria. Welcome to mariascraftroom.com. Today we're going to be making this weekly layout in Procreate so that we can show some of the new features that have been added to that program recently. So I want to work with some fall colors, so I'm going to take this background and add a color palette directly into Procreate using this color scheme. So let's get started. This is Noteshelf, but you can start in Goodnotes or whichever program you're working in. I like Noteshelf, and this is the 2020 Digibujo by Jenny Garland Designs. I will link everything that I'm using in the video's description below. Also, there'll be more information in my blog, so check that out. Please remember to like and share and subscribe to my channel, and if you click that notification bell, you will be notified when I post a new video. So let's clear the screen and get started. I'm going to tap my eraser and start from scratch. Now, if you're in, let me start over here in Goodnotes. If you're in Goodnotes, you want to export this way. Up arrow, share this page, image, export. And Goodnotes doesn't give you the option to save your image. So you're going to open directly into Procreate. Now, if you're in Noteshelf like I am, you're going to click this up arrow, current page. Format is PNG, share now, and you can either save the image or open into Procreate. It's going to do the same thing. All I'm doing is getting that image of my journal directly into Procreate. And there it is. Okay, that just gives me a nice format to work inside of. Alright, so I'm going to add a layer and then we're going to get started. So if you click at the top right in Procreate, you get your palettes. So you can see it in disk form, classic. You have lots of options here of how to see the same thing. The last one, if you go all the way to the top, gives you the option to add. You can create a palette from scratch, which was there before, but now you can add from camera, from file, and from photo. We're going to do this one. And I go to albums, planner stuff. I'm going to find some pretty fall colors. And I like this blue set. So I'm going to select an image that has the colors I want to use. So this one has a lot of colors I want. I'm going to select this one to pull my colors from, and that automatically created a palette for me of all the colors used in that image. That's pretty cool. It's set to my default, so when I scroll through here, that's going to be the default that sits in my little queue here. Okay, you can still switch to your other palettes. So let's go ahead and start making our weekly. I'm going to pick an orange from that brand new palette. I'm going to go to my brushes, and the Illustrator pack has an outliner brush that is nice and fine. Of course, you can change the size of your pen. I'm going to just draw out my line. If I hold, it goes straight. If you tap with a finger, it snaps perfectly straight. I'm going to go across, wait, and it's straight. We're just making boxes here. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that all my corners touch. Clean up my edges a little bit because I'm going to be repeating this box. Alright, so there's my first one. Now I'm going to Layers, Slide and Duplicate. Use my arrow tool and drag it over. I'm using my dots to keep my placement the same. Now I'm going to merge these two layers together, slide and duplicate. I'm still using my dots. There we go. And we'll merge those layers together. Now I'm going to use my arrow tool, and I'm in freeform so I can skew this, and I'm going to make those fit the space. Okay, now I'm going to add a layer, back to my brush, same brush, and I'm going to add a box up on the bottom. Same thing, wait till it straightens, put a finger down so it snaps straight, go across, wait till it straightens, okay, same thing, I just want to make sure my corners touch and clean up any little edges. Okay, once I'm happy, I'm going to merge that so it's all one layer now. Slide and duplicate all of that. And now I have the other side. We can merge everything together, click the end, lower the opacity so it's just not so bold. Okay, now that I have my framework, let's go ahead and add that picture that we started with. We'll drag it over, and that came over in its own layer. My S tool has different functions down here. You have color fill from here, which is very neat. We'll play with that in a minute. But I want to use the copy paste feature. I'm going to select rectangle. I want this one here. And before I would 3 fingers to cut and paste or copy paste, you have it right here now. And that put my rectangle into its own selection. So the sticker is in its own layer and my cutout is in its own layer. Okay, so let's turn off the sticker, and I want to work with this. We're going to just position that. I'm in uniform, so it's skewing perfectly. And we're going to switch to freeform so that I can make it fit my space. Let's take a look. That looks good. We're going to duplicate, put that on the other side, and then merge those together, and we'll put that beneath my grid. Now, it's very busy, so we're going to fill these squares. I'm going to use this grid layer as a reference. I'm going to add a layer. We're going to pick a lighter color. And since I use that as a reference, I'm going to work in this new clean layer. I can fill the boxes that are in the reference layer. Now I can do it that way one by one, or I can select automatic and select them all and then color fill all of them. That's pretty cool. Now we can select the EN tool and lower the opacity, make that as clear or as opaque as you want to make it. Okay. I see my image is a little off center, so I'm going to select the fill and the grid, and I'm going to group those together. Select the group, use my arrow tool, and I can move all of that together to make sure I have it right where I want it. So I group those together. Alright, so next, let's add in the days of the week across the top. So let's move that down a little bit so that I have some space to write. They're grouped together, all those layers are grouped together, so I can move them together. Okay, so long as this whole group is selected, I can use my arrow tool for all of them. So I'm going to add in the days of the week. So I'm going to freehand them. I'm going to use from the Essential Lettering Pack a brush called Flat Top Brush Pen. I find this brush very forgiving and it writes really well. So I'm going to first turn off this background layer so I can see where I'm writing. I'm going to add a layer and pick a pretty green from that new palette, and I'm just going to turn this so that I can write. And just write my days in. Now Wednesday's a little off, so I'm going to click select. Make sure color fill is not on, we just used that. And rectangle. And I'm going to select Wednesday, arrow. And just fix that right within that same layer. Okay, let's go back to the center here. We'll turn that background layer back on, add another layer. Let's add a pretty blue. We'll add the days of the week. Now those are really hard to see, so I'm going to go back into my background layer, select my eraser, and that eraser is set to medium airbrush. Let's go to soft blend. And we're just going to erase some of that background so that you can see my letters and my numbers without erasing a whole lot of that pretty background. So that's pretty cool. The S tool has some cool new features, and the add a new palette is also a new feature. And I'm sure there's more features in Procreate that I haven't found yet, but we'll make more videos as we go. Alright, so now I'm going to go into my layers. I'm going to turn off my planner layer and off my background. That gives me a transparent image. I'm going to wrench tool, share PNG, save it into my camera roll. Now I have a PNG image that I can use in Goodnotes or Procreate or wherever it is that you want to use it. I'm going to go right into Noteshelf, go over here on the side, pick up the last image that I just saved. I'm going to edit, take out some of this gray stuff just so I can position it easier. And that's going to drop right into place and I can lock it. Now when I write over top of that, the image won't move and my lasso won't move it. It's locked, including everything that I made in Procreate is locked. The numbers, the wording, the image itself, it all came over as one PNG. Now you can use the same image in Goodnotes. It'll work the exact same way, but you won't be able to lock the image in Goodnotes. From here you can just finish your decorating. And that's it. I hope you liked this video. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so that you will be notified when I post a new video. Thanks for watching.